Hi, wow, what a week. It has me thinking a lot about eating disorders. As anyone who's struggled with disordered eating knows, it's exacerbated by stressful situations where you feel like you can't control things, and it's made even worse by isolation. And obviously Corona is all those things. It's something that's very stressful that we genuinely can't control, and it calls for social isolation. In this video, I just wanted to talk through some tips from professionals and my own experience about how to handle things like this, and just tips for moving through the next few months, the next year, in a way that's healthy and that's protecting your heart, your mind, everything. So I've spoken about my eating disorder history on this channel before. One of the things I really didn't go into that much, because otherwise it would have taken a year, is part of what made my eating disorder really bad is isolation. And this is super common, with eating disorders, because they're so shameful, because they're done in secret and we hide away, we tend to isolate, and you start to lose friends, you start to say no to social things, you basically kind of pull into yourself. But then the horrible flip side of that is you then feel really alone and you turn to your disorder for comfort. I remember when I started getting sick, like really sick, when everything was happening with my family, and I was living in a house with two other friends, and then right next door there were 3 more friends. It was like a group of 6 of us, and we're at college, like 18, 19, 20, and they're just such nice girls, but they weren't ready to handle everything, I guess, that I was going through. Like I couldn't handle it, and they started to pull away from me and switch off from me, and I knew I was being talked about, and I think a lot of it came from a very good place, but also it just made things worse and worse. There would be parties in my house and I wouldn't be invited, and I just started to feel so alone. The worst, I was staying at a friend's on campus when she was away over Christmas, so I could work. I was working like a campus job over Christmas, and it would just be me for like, I would be the only person I was talking to for days and days, the only person I would see, the only person I'd be with. Like, it would just be me going from this little cubicle at the front desk upstairs into this bedroom, and then back again, and up and back again. And I just felt so alone, like so isolated, and it was awful. And it's probably when my eating disorder got the worst. Like, I would pass my time by watching cooking shows and reading Tumblr blogs about disordered eating, and just filling my mind with all these other things, so I didn't have to feel this great sadness, this great lack of control, this great anxiety. It was awful. I mention all of that because I think where we are now and where we're going to go over the next few months, it calls for isolation. It's how we keep people safe. So how do we do that while keeping ourselves safe and not slipping into, sorry, I'm still emotional from that story. I'm gonna talk you through some tips, things that I've been practicing that actually have really helped me. I've linked all the resources in the comment below, and if you have any tips, please comment, let me know. If there's any links I missed, send them across. You can message me directly on Instagram or comment here. Here we go. One of the things that's helped me have a feeling of control amid all this chaos where everything's up in the air is I start every day with about 15 minutes of whiteboarding. I'll show you mine, where I list out the actions for the day. And if I'm feeling particularly overwhelmed or scattered, I even will number the order that I'll do them, so that I have a plan and a structure, and it makes me feel a bit more secure. Also, journaling can help. So again, it's a similar idea of just writing out your thoughts first thing in the morning. It clears your mind, it starts you calm, this is what I'm feeling, here are my emotions. Name your emotions while realizing you aren't your emotions. So instead of saying, I am terrified, I am afraid, I am nervous, it's saying, I feel terrified, I feel nervous, I feel scared, because it lets us let go of that ownership. If we say, I am this, then we kind of cling onto it as part of us. Whereas if we say, I feel, it can come, it can go, it makes it a lot looser to handle. And also it gives us space to say, I feel scared, but also I feel thankful that everyone's coming together. So you can hold multiple emotions in one space, makes it a little easier to digest and to handle. I'm gonna stop numbering because I forgot how many numbers I've done so far. But this is one that's actually really helped me. If you're gonna do something, like if you're gonna binge, if you're gonna restrict, if you're gonna skip a meal, if you're gonna, you know, any of these things that we tend to associate with eating disorders, but you don't really wanna do that thing, like if it's a habit you're trying to break, say it out loud, say what you're gonna do and why you don't wanna do it. Like actually verbalize it, because sometimes just saying it and hearing it, it helps us have that little bit stronger control and resist. For instance, I don't know, if you're struggling with restricting food, it would be saying, I'm not going to skip breakfast this morning because that's not part of the health goals that I have for myself. This morning, I'm going to let myself eat and I'm going to treat myself kindly. If you're really struggling with anxiety right now, someone's hammering. I don't know if you can hear it, but anyways, you're really struggling with anxiety. Anxiety is often fear about the future, and it's fear about things we can't control. And then food and eating disorders are a way to help control that fear, that anxiety, to just have that structure. So try pulling back and looking at fact versus fiction. You know, use that rational side of your brain and use it as much and as powerfully as you can. Fact might be, you know, COVID-19 is transmitted through physical touch. In the same way, fiction would be, okay, well, binging is gonna make this better. It's gonna make it go away. No, it won't. And it's just pulling back from that coping mechanism and saying, okay, but are you actually going to help with any of these things I'm nervous about? One of the great things that's come out of all of this is people all around the world are really coming together, whether it's through online forums, live chats, live workouts, live anything, and it's really powerful. Something that could really help during this time is find a community. Find an online community that's positive, that's very important, that's positive. But find one where, you know, you can chat about your fears, you can say what's making you nervous, you can share tips for being healthy that day. Well, we're back to the numbers. Why do I do this? Move your body. I know it's tricky right now because a lot of us are at home, but I know I will not regret it once I do it. Try to meditate. I'm not very good at meditating. I find it tough, especially with my busy little monkey mind. But what helps me is I do kind of the 4-point inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And I try to do that while thinking about the different parts of my body and saying to myself, you know, relax, relax, relax. There are also loads of great online resources. I just find a lot of them take too long for me. That brings me to the next thing, which is just a very physical way of making yourself feel better and less anxious. Roll your shoulders. Just even try it now. Just see how that feels. Inhale, exhale, you know, relax your arms down, relax your tummy. Do these tiny little physical things that help signal to your body it's not in a place of stress. Don't make one bad meal or one, you know, a bad 30 minutes into a bad hour, a bad 4 hours, a bad day. It's very tempting to say, okay, well, I'll start again tomorrow. I've already broken this. I might as well go, we say balls to the wall. Might as well go balls to the wall. I might as well go all out and make the most of it. Don't make one bad meal, one bad start to the day, the bad rest of the day. Every minute is a chance to start over, to make it better. One bad instance, but it doesn't need to be a bad hour, a bad day. It doesn't need to be a whole series. Every chance that you have is a chance to restart. This is one that, again, is really helping me, and it's thinking about the positives. I personally have found great strength in looking at all the good stuff that's happening right now. Even as the world's going crazy, it's saying, you know, yeah, but my kitty is cuddling me every morning, and the world is coming together in a way we never have before. And it's just trying to embrace those little things in life that make you happier. Especially if you're locked in your house. It might be, I make myself a cup of tea and a cookie, or my dog gets really excited every time he sees me. Tiny little things that help bring a bit of joy. Okay, my last 2 points are really tied together. The first is, it's okay to switch off from the news. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming, everything that's happening. So give yourself that space to say, you know, I can't this isn't good for me right now at this moment, you know, look at it again like a trigger. And if it is becoming a trigger, just pull back from it and say, you know, maybe once a day, once every 2 days. I know everything is changing so rapidly, but give yourself that space if it's gonna protect your mental health. And finally, be gentle with yourself right now. Again, going back to when I was really sick, I remember feeling so much guilt and shame over what I was feeling, and kind of frustration at the anxiety and embarrassment. You know, what right did I have to be so anxious? What right did I have to have an eating disorder? So shameful, it's horrible. When we suppress our emotions, it only escalates and it only makes the problem worse. So it's really trying to honor what's going on inside of us. Whether you're drowning in 3 feet of water or 9 feet of water, you're drowning all the same. So it's okay. Which is kind of tragic, but it's the idea of don't feel bad about what you're feeling because you think maybe you shouldn't feel this way, or you should be happier, or, you know, you're just being silly. No, just honor what you're feeling. Honor if you are tripping up a bit more with your eating disorder, if you are doing habits that you haven't done in a while, because a lot is going on and it's very scary. But we have to honor and respect what's going on inside of us in order to even handle the things that we're doing. So just be gentle, be kind to yourself. I hope these tips help you. They're just little things that have been helping me. Again, please let me know what advice you have in the comments down below. I missed our Monday news show this week. I'm a freelancer, as some of you know, and I've lost some big jobs with all of this. And so it's just meant I've really had to hustle professionally for a few weeks and kind of buckle down and focus on, gosh, just paying the rent and those kind of things. But the news show will be The news show will be back on Monday. As always, all my love to you. I don't know what that was. I hope this helped.